go just throughout this conversation. What's up, TikTok fam? Guys, welcome to the Joyage Kingdom. I'm Cage, your guide. I'll be replacing the little voice inside your head for now, giving you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. I want to say first, thanks for listening or viewing on whatever platform you're on. If you haven't already, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. If you're going to follow me on Twitter, if you enjoy the subreddit, the Joyage Kingdom subreddit, then you were missing on all the alpha fam. Today, we've got we have one NFT project. We got the founders on of Cepheus Cloud. This is a project looking to kind of build out and help, especially on the back end side, to really help out these NFT projects kind of launch their stuff and make sure there's no issues that are silly. I would say that most projects who go through some kind of issue, it could have been easily avoided just kind of by taking care of like their normal stuff. So they're here to talk about it, what they're excited to be dropping, and we're talking about all the things, NFTs, metaverse stuff. You guys know the drill. So yeah, guys, make sure you guys get excited. Guys, thank you for being here.
For sure. All right, yeah, maybe we should start with an introduction, if that's okay, Kate. All right, perfect. Yeah, so I'm Jay. I'm in crypto for 7 years now. Actually bought my first Bitcoin in 2014. Back then, I set up a business where Dutch people actually could easily buy Bitcoin and Litecoins. Back then, not sure since when you are in crypto, but Litecoin's supposed to be the new Bitcoin, quicker, faster, more secure, and all that. Yeah, but it was very hard to actually buy Litecoin. So I set up a business. That business became one of the biggest Dutch cryptocurrency brokers. It's called Lightbit. And since then, been advising lots of projects, set up several businesses, and figured out that that there's a cool new technology that's not used enough by all these NFT projects. I also met Vipin almost 2 years ago, and we figured out that we have to do something with it. And there we go. That's Cepheus. That's about me. And maybe Vipin, you can continue and introduce yourself as well.
So as Jen mentioned, I'm Vipin. I'm from India. I started I'm an engineer. I started as a developer and then moved into the blockchain technology in 2017. I initially started working as a developer, then moved on to the higher positions of like architect and leads. And then I met Jay. We built the product for like 8-9 months, and then we were discussing everything, and then we thought of building our own product with something related to NFTs and like those kind of stuff. So because that are the next big thing in the market now. And since then, back in 2021, I guess in December, we started Cepheus. We have our own team. We bootstrapped the project. We built this POC, and that's where we are. We are here, and we are into the marketing side, those kind of stuff, and moving towards the sales and the things we will discuss in future.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. And you guys have this thing called the DNFT. That is something I haven't really heard talked about. Do you guys want to break that down? Why that was the angle you guys decided to take?
Yeah, for sure. By the way, Kate, I wanted to mention that that we're super happy with this opportunity to talk about the project and talk about ourselves. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so the NFTs. I'm pretty sure everyone listening to the AMA, looking at us, knows about NFTs. Either they sell them, they buy them, they hold them in their wallets, or perhaps using those NFTs in games and metaverses. But the question is did you ever use a dynamic NFT? Like most of the people don't even know what's in the NFT, and maybe they're holding one, but they don't know about it. And we feel like it's really the next evolution, of NFTs, and it's just getting started. And just put in very simple words, the NFTs are obviously dynamic NFTs, but what I mean by that is that those NFTs can change in properties. So it's not just a single image and a title, but it can have properties that can change by leveling up in a game, for example, or by using an NFT or consuming it in the metaverse, perhaps as an access card to enter an virtual apartment, for example. So that's, in simple words, what the NFT is, and we're here to bring it to the next level and making it super easy for founders and people to set up their businesses and use the technology, because it is really the future. NFTs are nice, those images. I mean, those apes, they're pretty awesome. but it would be nice to actually use it, as a utility. And we believe this technology will definitely help us achieve that.
Hell yeah, hell yeah! And you guys have this thing called the space station, where you kind of mention the core, I guess, of the project of Cepheus, which is to kind of help the projects build out the Web3 infrastructure, kind of the behind the scenes stuff, the editing, the developing, auditing, the coding, all the stuff. Do you Is that, like, I guess that was the inception when you guys first started the project? Is that where you'd say like most of the projects kind of go awry is because of they hire the wrong developer, they hire someone who's kind of shit, maybe they hire someone who's kind of a scammer? I remember back in, like, what was it, maybe December, there was a project called Winter L's that we were all really excited about, and they, like, everything was good, they just literally hired a bad guy who was the developer, and he just completely drained everyone. And I remember everyone was just completely like, oh wow, that we did not see that coming, and it was fucked, bro. It was very fucked. So is that kind of why you guys started the project and centered it all around that?
Yeah,
definitely.
Actually, as you mentioned, like, it is really hard. Like, as I mentioned earlier, that myself and Jay, we already built a product, and that's what we found out, right? Like, for any entrepreneur or any Web3 business, it's really hard to find good developers in the market. It's a lot of cost involved, and also the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, if a person who wanted to build an NFT marketplace, or maybe like something related to an NFT, or maybe something related to like, say, staking solution, they need to build a token, they need to have a token utilities and those kind of stuff. So for that, they need to hire a few developers, right? Like, there would be front-end developer, back-end developer, and all kind of hassle, and it takes around 2 to 3 months of time to just build the basic utilities. And that's where the idea came from. That's what the space station is. A space station is, you can say, a simple UI where any non-technical or a technical person doesn't need to have too much technical understanding. They just need to fill a simple form,
Yeah.
where and those utilities would get developed, deployed on their platform, like staking solution for any for staking the tokens or the NFTs, maybe vesting solution to like vest the tokens of the investors, NFT utilities, NFT marketplace, trading solutions. So these kind of solutions would be like readily built. They don't need to have hire developers or to have technical understanding of these things. They just need to know basic stuff, and there you go. They can deploy the solutions very cheaply and in a minute or so. That's
Got
what
it.
the space station is.
Yeah, I also wanted to highlight that at its core, Cepheus is a platform that helps new projects launch their tokens and launch their token utilities, and that can be anything, right? Like investing, staking, or their own NFTs. And like Vipin said, the UI, that's what we call the space station. Initially, it was called the interface, but there were lots of people who said, yeah, the interface, and lots of people said, well, that's just too technical. What the heck is the interface, right? And since we're in the Spacey and Stars team, we would we thought space station would be more fun. But also, if you think about it, the space station that you can enter, it has like lots of different doors and tools that you can use to fly the spaceship. And one of those products, so we shortly discussed vesting and staking and NFTs, but one of the products that we offer through the interface and which we call now the space station is the NFT as a service. It's a service that you can use to mint your NFTs, mint your marketplace, NFT marketplace as well, but also the entire infrastructure behind it that will allow you to use those NFTs in game or metaverses and change those properties based on external events, like entering an apartment and using your NFT as an access card. All those things can be accessed and managed through the space station on the platform. And it's a user interface. You connect your wallet, you click on the solutions that you want to deploy, whether it's NFTs or vesting or staking, and all those solutions are also audited. And that's the example that you gave about the developer, about a specific project. That's what we find very important. All the solutions are audited and battle tested, which means that if you deploy the solutions, it would be safe, right? And that's what we find super important. So one, those projects they don't need to look for very expensive Solidity developers, and secondly,
Right.
all the solutions are audited. So yeah, it's really no brainer, to use the platform and launch your Web3 project. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like it's a different style project, one that has kind of some things built in. What is the role? Because not many projects have anything going on. So what is the is there a difference between the target audience for people you're trying to sell the NFTs to versus your client base is going to be using the NFTs? Are they both the same? The people who are going to be, because it sounds like the NFTs are meant to be used the whole time, like they're meant as like a tool. So it sounds like the clients are the same as like the target audience for like building a community. Like, what role does the NFT, I guess, play in your mind?
Yeah, that's a very good question. They're not per se the same. So right now we're really focused on DNFT users. People are interested in buying and using our DNFTs on our platform, and by doing so, they will receive rewards. But people that we're after to use the UI or the space station, those people would be founders, entrepreneurs launching their own Web3 project. Not really people who are interested in the technology and using our NFT sets, but really using the platform to launch their products, to launch their projects. So initially, we'll be looking at people interested in our NFTs and willing to learn more about the project and help us build the ecosystem. And then the next phase would be all about businesses and founders and entrepreneurs, because ideally they would be using the space station, pay a fee, and all those fees will end up in the reward pool to help the people who help us build the ecosystem. Basically, the NFT holders, in short.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to add on to what Jay mentioned, as like these NFTs which we would be starting with, not the founders, these retail investors, they won't just be holding the NFTs. They would get rewards on that. They would get Cepheus token on the daily basis as a reward. Apart from that, they also would be getting a bunch of tokens of different projects who are launched on space station, and also they would be having like the algo trading points, and they would be involved in the governance, which is the most important thing. Like they would be involved in the future roadmap of Cepheus. So there are multiple utilities of this NFTs. So it's a combination of two things. One is DNFT as a service, or DNFTs which would be selling, would be having multiple utilities, and also a bunch of things for the founders or Web3 businesses. So mix of both of the worlds.
Yeah, no, true. That's definitely true. What do you think you guys say would be the hardest obstacle you guys have been dealing with in the last, like, I don't know how many months you guys have been building this so far, but what's been difficult?
Many things. Building a business is not very easy.
Yeah, I feel you there.
And especially a Web3 business, right? It's like like completely different than a traditional business. But the hardest part was really, I think, two things. Build the community that we're still trying to build, right? And we're really happy with the traction that we've got since 2-3 weeks ago. Secondly is the technology. So there are a few very big players such as Chainlink that we partner with that will help us build the entire infrastructure that's necessary for the NFT as a service product, right? So there are lots of Web3 businesses with very awesome white papers, that looks really good, and they offer like everything that you might need, but in the end, it's just a white paper. So it's really hard to find partners and those companies that are willing and able to help us build the ecosystem and the infrastructure for the Cepheus platform. But I feel like we have found partners that we can rely on and that we can really trust. We're still not there
yet. How
yet.
do those relationships open?
Sorry?
Really true. Oh, can you repeat the question for Pippin?
I just asked how some of those partnerships happen. Like, how do those relationships begin? Is it through mutual friends, just random Twitter spaces, or?
Yeah, very good question. That's also not very easy, but usually through people that you met at one of these conferences, for example, who tells you like, hey, by the way, I saw your project. You should really talk with that guy or that woman. And that really helps because we're in this space for a pretty long time now, for 6-7 years. So it makes it a bit easier but still, all those big companies, for example, Chainlink, they have a pretty nice user base and clientele base, and sometimes they're not very interested in projects, partnering with them. But if you're in this space for a pretty long time, you know who you should talk with and who you can really trust and who's interested in, partnering with smaller projects. So it was also like not a very easy thing to do, but super happy with the partner. Obviously, we can't share all of them. Chainlink is one of the biggest partners, and the official partnership will be announced before we launch the entire platform, because we're still integrating with each other, with our technologies. But yeah, very stoked to share those partnerships, because we're not building it just for our clients, but we're really building it with our partners and the big players in the in this space, and that's what we find important.
Hell yeah, right on. How did you guys meet, by the way? Did you guys meet virtually? Was it randomly at an event like NTNYC? How'd you guys meet?
Yeah, good question. From my point of view, during a project that we both worked at the same time, and we built on a blockchain project, built several blockchain products for a company. I'm still involved in a company, it was very easy to work with each other. We really liked the places that we come from. By the way, I'm Dutch and Vipin is Indian. Super different, but we leveled quite well, and we said, well, we should really work with each other in the future. That's from my point of view. Vipin can have like a different point of view.
No, it's the same. Like as Jay mentioned, like we worked for around 9 or 10 months together for one product, and then it was like more of a friendship than of like you can say technical relationship, or make you can say. So it was like, and that's what we were discussing, more of the stuff like what should we do, what should we, how we should improvise, or how we should improve what we can do for Web3 business, like because there are many businesses but are not anything like worth working for. And that's where that's where the idea came from, and that's what we thought, like to bootstrap the product. We really find that Cepheus really good, and that's where everything gel along. Then Jay came to India, we built up a team. We have a team, as mentioned, like we already have bootstrapped the product, so we have a team of like 15 developers working under us, developers, QAs, marketing team, and all the stuff we already have. And that's what we have been doing from past 9-10 months approximately, right, Jay?
Hell yeah.
Approximately.
Yeah, it's really nice that you actually mentioned that, Vipin. So, okay, we're developing the entire platform with all the different, smart contracts and for 8 or 9 months now. And back then we did not raise anything, right? So I think that's also very different than most projects who usually raise funds and then start developing. So, which also means that we do have an MVP. The platform is deployed on testnet. It's working. It's just a matter of the upcoming pre-sales and then launch the entire platform, and basically every functionality will be available to all users, and really looking forward to that moment.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Anything we've been kind of building up to a big like launch date, it's probably pretty exciting. It is interesting though, because like as the months have kind of rolled on, my view on like mint day has changed a little bit, because I thought like at one point during the market, like during the bear market, I was wondering like why projects were continuing to do the whitelist meta, why they were kind of continuing to lead us to this big mint day. Because for me, especially if this might only be for brands that have already been established, but in my head I was like, what's the reason of doing a mint day if you could just like roll them out slowly with like tiny little supply drops, where the focus is never on the floor. Like the goal isn't really for that. The goal is to roll out the tokenization, like whatever token gate opportunities and benefits, whatever that they're offering to be in the club. Like I feel like a slow rollout of those NFTs would kind of put the focus on what they're actually getting out of the membership. But it also, I think, also depends on the kind of project it is. Like some projects are literally just PFP community projects, and that's just what they are. And I think now that we're seeing, we're a year in and we are like, oh, we bought these penguin pictures last year. You must now be a business because we bought it, and you must add more value. And it's like, well, like when they dropped, they literally were just pictures of penguins, and that was plenty. All we wanted was a secondary collection, right? What I guess what is the most exciting thing for you guys as the space is kind of gone? I mean, you guys have been here for a long time. Jay, you said you bought Bitcoin in 2014, so I'm sure the space has evolved and transitioned and gone backwards, gone forwards, gone backwards again. What's the cool stuff you guys have been a part of?
Yeah, I mean, lots of projects. I think I've been part of all the crazy, NFT projects launched on OpenSea. All the ones with the word ape in it, for example. So I experienced a lot. But like I said in the beginning of this call, usually those projects have NFTs, and that's it. So that's a very important one that you just said, right? So usually you buy NFTs, and then a few months later or a year later, even it turned out that your NFT became very, very very valuable, basically, because they launched a utility, or they launched a website, or did a rebrand. That's what I find very, very interesting, and that I've seen lately, that all those projects that initially launched NFTs are actually building something. So that, I think that's a good sign. That's a good sign of the market. That's where we want to be, right? But still, not a lot of projects, that launched NFTs with utilities, which means that you can actually use the NFTs from day one and use them within utilities for utilities. And that's definitely something that I learned from, and that I want to do, differently with Cepheus. Launch the NFT set, and then within 72 or maybe 100 hours, there will be a platform utilities that you can actually use your NFT for. But yeah, I've been part of lots of different, NFT projects, and it's an awesome community. It's really, really fun to be part of that community, and to be part of all those Discord, servers and Telegram communities. It's also driving me nuts sometimes, It's taking lots of hours every day, but I still learn every day. I think that's a good thing. And very fun. Yeah.
I feel that. How about you, Vipin?
Yeah, exactly. I was also thinking in the same direction, and like that's where I'll repeat again that's where the idea came from of dynamic NFTs, right? It's not just holding that visual avatar or something like that, which will have its utilities, or maybe you can say rarity. After some time, it will have rarity from the day one, because it will be dynamic, right? Once you launch the platform, once it is used, for just an example, like an NFT for a weather forecast. So these NFT, because obviously the weather keeps on changing, it won't be the constant, right? Throughout the whole day, the temperature changes. So these kind of thing, the basic utility is like, so that's why these dynamic NFTs are really important for future, because most of the things are not static. It will change, and that's where the utilities are. So it has a huge basket of utility, where these NFTs can be used, and that's where we come in.
Yeah. And when you have something that's actually going on that people can go ahead and like do it from the beginning. Like I mentioned a second ago, like the mint price is more or less irrelevant, because that's not the reason you bought. And it's like, if that's like while you're kind of leading up, that's been one of the main keys to the success of like my NFT. Our project was like, when they bought them, they knew what they were buying. So like no one's really undercutting the floor, no one's fudding. They're not saying you're taking too long to get it. Like the whole thing with my brand is like, well, if you want to get in early on me as a creator, I plan on taking over. So if you want to get in, like that's what you're buying. So don't buy this and expect something to happen in 3 months or something. Like YouTube is a very long game. To build a brand and a podcast show, it takes like 25, 30 years. If Joe Rogan didn't even get noticed for the last 10 years, he's been doing podcasts for way longer than that. And so when they went in to buy, they knew exactly what they're doing. So there's never any surprise. They're not like, oh my God, why isn't there more volume? Why isn't there any of this? It's like, well, like because no one's selling, because people knew why they bought. And I think that's the benefit of a project where you actually have an up and coming business and real utility. You can log in and be like, okay, let's start. Let's do the thing we came here to do. So that's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a way different experience than if you guys had dropped a whatever, elephant, monkey, mutant thing. You know what I mean? So it'll be cool. I think it's gonna be really exciting for you guys.
Cool, thank you.
Absolutely.
I do have a question, Kate. So we discussed the NFTs and what you can do with it, but I'm just curious. Like, did you ever use the NFT like URL?
Have I used an NFT in real life?
Yeah. So
Let's see.
like one of the best use cases that I can think of are, well, actually two. So one of them would be play to earn games where you will be using NFTs to, for example, consume NFTs to get like rare items in game. In a metaverse, it could be like I said, like entering an apartment and use the NFT as an access card. There are
Mhm.
lots of use cases that we can think of, and that's definitely something that we use in our marketing campaigns to really be hyper focus on those projects and those founders that we want to reach out to. But like, did you ever hold the NFT in your wallet that you're aware of? Like, we were trying to figure out, like, based on conversations with different people, different founders, like, did you ever experience using it? We can find lots of people actually.
So I don't think so. I mean, the only times I've ever used it would be for like an access membership into some kind of exclusive thing that was being thrown, like where I just need to hold the NFT in my wallet and prove it. That's the only time I think I've actually used any of the NFTs that I hold. I've definitely missed opportunities. Like there have been events that were put on or certain token gated things, activations that I just didn't go to because I just couldn't make it in real life. The only things I can think of, I mean, all my NFT art holders, they're just photography pieces. They all got free shit a few months ago when I did my first drop of clothes. So I just sent them a bunch of free stuff, which is cool because it almost felt like a Gymshark moment. I didn't send them all like a massive box,
Nice.
but I sent them like a nice little package each. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Like they didn't have to pay for shipping or anything. They just had to be a holder. And I hope to do those kind of things. And like, as I grow as a YouTuber, as a business owner, partnerships are going to be cool because you can add in an element of something for your token holders and be like, yo, like because you guys are holders, because you guys have been believing my vision, because of the kind of project mine is, which is just an art collection supporting a creator. I want to be able to deliver whatever that is. Like I always talk about, if I partner with like Red Bull or Celsius Energy or something, I'm going to try my damnedest to get all of them free drinks every single month. Like that's the goal with any kind of partnership. I think it'd be really awesome. And that would be the in real life little bridge where you can literally convince anyone. You're like, okay, at the very least, I got all my holders this shit, and they can be like, okay, fine. That's a real thing. So yeah, but that's the thing. Like all our projects are very different. Like some projects, like I said, are just those PFPs. They're not really meant to be used in, I feel like, any other place than probably Twitter. Like, I mean, maybe in the metaverse,
exactly.
a version of that. By the way, speaking of the metaverse, like how far away are we? I mean, you guys work in the back end of stuff. You guys do a bunch of the technical stuff. Where's your perspective on the metaverse? What does it look like? How far away are we?
Yeah, good question. So we partner up with Spatial. I'm not sure if you ever use Spatial, but it's it can be seen as a metaverse. Technically, is where you can build your own rooms, your own species, and your own world, and invite people, to hang out. They do have a few very cool functionalities that you can use, for example, the one that you just described, a token gated community, and in this case, there will be an NFT gated community where you need to hold a certain NFT to be able to join that metaverse, that world that you just built. These are the metaverses, the solutions that we're looking for to partner with, because we see lots of different use cases that we can build with them. But to answer your question, so we'll use Spatial to build our own metaverse, our own, let's say apartments and maybe penthouse where we can invite our community members and NFT holders, as well as so we will have 3 different NFT collections. I'm not sure if you looked into the token utilities, but each of those NFTs, NFT collection will have different token utilities. For example, the Vega holders will be able to join monthly meetings in the metaverse. We'll be using Spatial for that. And those people will be able to vote on things, vote on the direction of the Cepheus platform, the protocol itself, vote on changing parameters of the rewarding pool, for example. And that's a very cool utility that we built. Yeah, in terms of building our own metaverse, that's definitely something that we looked into. It could be something for the future, but it's a very expensive project. We speak to different people, different companies building metaverses, which cost you like at least half a million, which we
Yeah.
don't have. So, and spatial is like a tested metaverse that we really
Hell yeah.
like. So that's definitely something that we'll be using. Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
And to add on to that, like as just mentioned, like spatial will also like because it is a dynamic NFT, right? So it won't be just like you would be able to enter with that NFT, like the property will change. So like for an example, if we are if we are holding a virtual meet, or if we are holding a sort of a party, that NFT will give them that specific thing, right,
Mhm.
to enter that party as well. And about in future, that same NFT would be able to use in a play to earn game, as to earn some tokens or those kind of stuffs from that game. And that is what it means. Like it will change the property again and again. It won't be just a static thing, like you would once you hold the NFT, and the property would be stagnant for the whole life, and it's just the value which is increasing, but also the property. So if you hold that NFT and you pay for one time, then the property and the rewards goes for the lifetime, and it changes. So it increases the value as well, the rarity, and also the properties.
Mm, true, true. And also, I had a question here from TikTok. By the way, thanks for all the likes on TikTok. I doubt it because TikTok blew up on the likes. But if you're watching this on YouTube, click that like button for us. If you're on Twitch or Twitter or whatever the fuck, retweet or click like, whatever. Engage somehow. Help us out. But someone who else? Who said it? Neil had said, what are the revenue streams outside the NFT project? What's their monthly burn rate? How much runway do they have? Yes, like some of these things, like probably do cost a bit of money to kind of like provide all the service up front. Is like the mint, I guess, is that mainly to kind of get that upfront cash to sort of start employing these people to pay for the things that they're about to do. And then as far as like the main bits of revenue, like obviously the NFT sale, but then after that, you said that the projects that are trying to use the service. Or sorry, explain it to me, because some people are going to have the NFT, which gives you access to it, and then some people are just going to be clients that come, and they don't need to buy the NFT, right? They can just use the service, or how does that part work? Or maybe we already talked about that. I can't remember.
It's
Yeah.
it is a very good question, but it's exactly like you said. So by holding the NFT and by staking the NFT, you'll get rewards, and the rewards come from different places, which is a technical thing, but it can be looked up on our white paper. But in short, where the revenue will come from is either the interface, which has different solutions that people can pay for and use within a project. And it's not just audited smart contracts, but for example, if you want your own staking product, it will be deployed entirely with the front end, which will be accessible to your own community, to your own user base. And the DNFT as a service, that's like a monthly subscription-based product. And the revenue that comes in from those services and the space station, that will flow into the reward pools used to reward people holding the NFTs. Yeah.
Got it. Right on. Anything to add there, Vipin, or is that pretty much it?
Yeah, and apart from that, obviously we would be having partnerships for these play to earn games and the metaverses. So that also would be using the same NFTs apart from the space station. So would be different utilities, and also the revenue
Yeah.
streams as well.
Cool. Right on. For anyone who's watching
question.
who is like trying to be a builder, whatever that means, like a builder of whatever skill they have, what kind of advice do you have for them getting involved on an NFT project? Do you think it's smart to reach out to ones that have already been built, already launched, or have been going for a few months? Is it better to hop in early before they start? How has it even happened? Should they be putting out stuff on like Fiverr? Do you think making content's the best way, like on TikTok or something like that? Like, what do you think is the best way? Like, where do you guys find people that are cool to work with?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Sorry. I think from places. So the good thing is by having a pretty new technology, the NFT technology, is that you can really focus on founders and projects post TGE, but also pre TGE, and also projects that are about to launch their NFTs or tokens. It's technology that you can integrate within the metaverse, within play to earn games, or DeFi projects whenever you want. Really, it's not like a matter of time. It's a matter of simply doing it. Really. So I think that makes our audience pretty big. the client base pretty big, the potential of it. Yeah, there are like different ways to approach these people. We have set up some deal flows with partners, also pretty big partners, also true investors, and also yeah, VCs, and that really helps because especially VCs, they talk with founders who have just an idea, like a vision or mission. They did not launch anything yet, and those people are ideal to teach them what the NFT means and how you can implement it, and also how the future will look like. And we truly believe that NFTs are awesome, but we should really think about the utility of those NFTs. And the NFTs could definitely help build that future, and it will be very, very useful for all those projects who will launch next year. And projects that have a pretty nice white paper or just launch NFTs to raise capital, I think those projects will really vanish because it's really hard to build utilities around NFTs, or you have to be creative, and lots of projects are not really creative. And by implementing, our technology, you can be very flexible because you basically build an ecosystem between on-chain and off-chain. On-chain are smart contracts, off-chain are databases, and for example, traditional services or products that a company built. And you can easily connect them together, and like I said, the NFTs, at least the properties, can change on activities, on events, both on-chain and off-chain. And that's super flexible for those companies.
True. Yeah, absolutely. There was a question I had in my head 3 seconds ago. Oh, yeah. So I was going to say, there's multiple facets to building an NFT project, right? Like some of them are very different from each other. Like some of them is pure sales, nothing to do with anything else. And in the last few months, honestly, I've gotten really into that side. And like, I think a lot of the recent NFT projects struggle to get VC backed or get any kind of private investors, even is because of the lack of just knowledge of sales, like just like a little bit of sales knowledge, or maybe like one book here and there, a course or something like that is so helpful because all the sales are is just figuring out how to present the offer in a way where it makes the investor salivate. And they're like, oh, I need to get in on that, whatever that means. And there's so many projects who just don't have the elevator pitch nailed down. They don't have like their website knocked down where it's like you get there, like within 10 seconds, you know exactly what the problem is, what they're solving, what they're about. And why you need to invest in them, like within 10 seconds. They literally need to be like, okay, I need to scroll because I need to know what's next. And a lot of projects just don't have that part down. And I think it's because like in Web3, because it's all startups, I think they're so excited to just get going that there's so many parts to a business. Like honestly, until the last few, I had a running Web3 company for the past 14 months, and it's done well. It's been enough to be able to go full time, which has been amazing. But only in the last like 6 months did I like level up and then realize how much leveling up completely changes everything for you. Where do you guys see? So I actually don't even know if there was a question there. I just thought that was something like worth noting. What's the part that you guys have kind of crushed in the NFT space? Like, what was something that you guys either thought would be really hard and you guys ended up just breezing past those, or anything that you guys picked up, like new skills? Talk about that kind of that journey from inception of idea to November 7th.
Yeah, I do have a very technical one, but I would like to give the word to Vipin before I discuss the technical details, because it's a bit boring for non-tech savvy people, but I'm really proud of it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Right on, Vipin. Go ahead.
So initially, like we had an idea of the space station, as I mentioned earlier as well. So we thought of a product that should serve the purpose of each and every Web3 business and the founders and all the stuff. But obviously, like when we built that thing and we moved ahead, we did some planning and all the stuff. So we thought of a building that interface, what we are calling. So it should be non-technical, right? It should not have some technical difficulties which each and every, like, because not each and every Web3 business or a founder have technical understanding. They just have an idea, right? So that's where the idea came. Much more, you can say, it was much more clear on that vision that we needed to build a product which should be easily understandable to non-tech guys as well. And then when we move ahead, when we created that kind of platform, then we thought it's just an idea for the Web3 businesses, right? We are not considering the retail investors and investors who are into the market, right? So we wanted to
Right.
have a product which should be feasible for both technical guys and also like the Web3 businesses, technical
Hmm.
guys, founders, and also to the retail investors. And that's where the idea came for the DNFT as a service. So as I mentioned earlier as well, that it's a mix of two worlds, like the retail investors, Web3
Right.
businesses, and like both have different utilities. Both can both have, and both the utilities are also interlinked between each and everything. So that's where each and everything is like working. That's how each and everything is working.
Yeah. Sure.
Jay, if you wanted
Yeah,
to add
very true.
something.
Yeah, I mean, very, very true. It's in line with what I wanted to say. It's what I find. I mean, it's hard to believe because it's 2022, but it's still very hard to launch your Web3 business or mint your NFTs and launch your token utilities. And I'm really happy that we've made it super easy. And on top of that, we built a DNFT service that will not just make it super easy for people to launch their DNFTs, but it's also super quick. And
Hmm.
sometimes when I use DeFi solutions, it can be slow, and
Hmm.
we find it very important to build like products and the platform that's super quick, so it feels like it's not related or connected with the blockchain. Like going
Yeah.
to Google, it loads instantly, right? And I'm really proud of the team that they've built an infrastructure and a platform that's super quick, and it just doesn't feel like it's connected with blockchain. And I think that's a big achievement,
Yes.
and that's also what our future clients will experience. Well, minting their DNFTs and managing their DNFTs through the service. Like it doesn't feel like it's blockchain because if you click on something, it instantly loads.
Yeah.
That's what I find a very very big achievement. I'm very proud of it. Like there's a lot of technical things that's super important that I didn't mention, but it's worth mentioning that we will write articles explaining how we've done it, so all businesses can also learn from it. Like caching
Hmm.
servers are involved. Lots of technical components are very important to make it happen and to make it quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will also launch a learn to earn sort of campaign, but it will be basically a blog where we will launch and release articles that will explain how we have done those things and how people can actually use it for their own projects. And I feel like Web3 is amazing, it's great, but sometimes it's very, it's some projects, some DeFi applications are built for tech savvy people, and it should be easier, and that's what we're trying to achieve here. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that. I think it's a great idea. I think any NFT project to have a digital product of sorts, whatever that is. I've leaned toward the courses. I know a lot of people cringe at the courses, but to be honest, every big skill I've picked up has been from just buying a fucking course and figuring it out. Like, very rarely do I go through a YouTube series and actually get anything out of it. I mean, I get a little bit of a basis understanding, but as far as actually completing things, the course is the best way to go because that's what they're there for. And I've actually started doing that for my own brand because I offer different services to my business. And dude, having courses, whether or not you charge or not, that's a great way of a source of income because they go through the whole course. Throughout the whole course, you're kind of like mentioning in little bits, like they're basically getting the idea. They're like, okay, like this is kind of how you do it. We clearly need these people to walk us through it. How do we work with them? Like that's the end goal, is like the final funnel to the offer at the end of the course. Is like, okay, how do we work together? And then you like drop the offer, whatever it is. And so like I think that's a great idea. You could even charge for the actual course. That could be a revenue stream and kind of add that to the list of things. Like here's another thing we have. We built all these digital courses. All the people can learn from it. That's something that I talked about in one of the courses I made. Was like, what if Azuki made one for Asian anime projects? Bro, there's like hundreds of
Good one.
anime. Like they would go, that would crush. And then every other project would copy. There'd be like a panda project, how to drop a proper panda project. But I just think that's another source of income that people are missing out. And so that's kind of one of the things I offer with my company. So there's an NFT project listening, then I think that's a great option for you guys to do. What do you guys do for like in the day in life when you wake up? What time is that at? Like for me, my schedule every month will be a different answer. Like sometimes it's, oh, I wake up at 7 or 8, 9 a.m. and then sometimes it's like, oh yeah, it's like 1 p.m.
Yeah, we notice that. You
Yeah.
always reply,
In
which
the
is
middle of
crazy,
the
but
night.
yeah, exactly.
I don't sleep, baby. I
But
don't sleep. People know it.
it seems so. That's also what people told me. Like, watch out,
Yeah.
kid doesn't sleep, so you
I
won't
don't
have
sleep.
rest yourself.
I'll
But
sleep later, bro.
yeah, exactly. Sleep less, sleep less.
Sleep
No,
less.
no, but jokes aside, I wake up pretty early. I set alarm at like 6:30, 7. Usually, I go out for a run, go out for nice
Nice.
breakfast, and then start working around 8:30. But having several businesses, setting up a new crypto project takes lots of time. So you
Yeah.
know, yeah, start working around 8 in the morning and start working around 9 in the evening, 10 in the evening, sometimes 11. But I guess if you really like what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work.
True.
It's like what people say, right? It's a hobby. It's not really work. It's
Hmm.
still work though, but since I really like it, it doesn't feel like it's draining my energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I feel that.
Yeah, and I think lots of people experience that in crypto, because it's just fun working on those projects. It's just fun
Hmm.
buying, selling, holding NFTs. It's giving people energy and fun, right? And that definitely helps. Yeah.
What is the day-to-day stuff? So when you're working all day, like, do you spend a lot of your time coding? Is it like managing people, operations? Like, what is it? What's your daily thing that you're doing usually?
Yeah, good question. It's a mix of different things. So managing people, talking with partners, with potential partners, potential customers. Coding, I also code myself. So I have a background in software engineering, studied in Amsterdam and the Netherlands. And I really enjoy coding, but yeah, I just can't do it on my own, and that's why we have an awesome team, 11 developers right now. So I usually give them hints and tips, and I talk with them and review what they've been working on. But to be honest with you, I haven't been coding like 8 hours straight for a while. So I
Hmm.
learn new things every day from my own team, and that's really cool to see. And yeah, really happy with the progress as well. So that's basically how my days look like. Yeah.
Hell yeah, right on. How about you, Vipin? Walk me through it, dude.
uh,
Walk me through it.
I'm first of all, I'm not an early riser as Jay. It's around 1:30 my time, 1:30 a.m. my time. I
Yeah.
generally sleep at around this time itself, 1:32. I wake up around 9:30 around that time, and then I like go to office
Hmm.
where we have a team around 11:30, 12, and then I stay at office till like 8:30, mostly 9 approximately. And like as Jay mentioned, I'm like away from coding.
Hmm.
I know things, how things work and those kind of stuff, but I'm like, I don't code now. I understand how things work. So mostly I do is like managing things, writing the technical things, like creating the technical stuffs, how to work with that. Like, I don't know how to tell that in a normal way, but architecturing the technical stuff.
Yeah.
So like how to have the best way to work upon this, thinking on different ideas, how that can be implemented easily. So those kind of things what I do. And then I spend some time with my family. So I live with my family, and then that's what I do mostly.
Hell yeah, man. I'm glad that you're able to spend time with your family. I feel like if I had to, I don't know if I'm glad I'm seriously fucking happy I'm 24 right now because I don't know how I'd be balancing anything with a single attachment. Like, seriously, impressive. How about you, Jay?
Yeah,
Do
it's
you
really
got like
tough.
a whole ass family that you got to balance, or are you like living that single life, or what's it
Man,
like out there?
it's a tough one. I do have a girlfriend, but
Nice.
I think it's a Dutch thing really. Like I don't know lots of people well, people who meet their family like on weekly basis, but I think it's an Indian
Hmm.
thing, maybe a more Asian thing. I've
Yeah.
been to India a few times now, to meet Vipin, to set up the business and hire devs, and I really like the way how they live with the family. Lots of people still live with the family, not because they can't get out of the house, but because they really like it, because they
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
really, really good relationship with the family. And I think we can definitely learn from that. So to be honest with you, Kate, I think we have the same struggles. I feel like I don't have time like Indian
Yeah.
people say, you have to make time. You can do it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And that's
it's
100%
it's
it, dude.
it's in our culture, right? If like you generally leave your parents or your home if you are not working in your city. For an
Hmm.
example, if I have an office in some other city, then only I would leave my parents' house. So it's like I guess 90% of the families have the same thing. 10% might be different. So it's a culture. Like it is not dependent upon the money you're earning or the thinking what you have. It's just a culture. Like obviously, like you live with your family, and that's it. Like if you're working somewhere else, obviously you need to move. But we have a lots and lots of you can say functions, or you can say gatherings. So at that time also, like we come back to our places, like festivals and those kind of stuffs.
Hell yeah.
So
Right on.
that's what the culture is here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm half Japanese, and my mom's side's Japanese, and I would say they probably see like the family all sees each other. They all live in the same city, kind of for the most part. They're probably seeing each other on a weekly basis, if not monthly. And definitely in America, that's not the case. Most people I know see their parents like a couple times a year if they're lucky. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is. Like I think we're
crazy.
just hustling. I think America just like believes in this. We're in this like hustle culture mindset for a lot of the people in this country, just because of probably social media or something. Like the people who are being looked up to are like grind mode entrepreneur people. That's just what's in. Oh, lovely. I have a bot in the chat. Oh, great.
I
Hold on.
see.
Let me.
We've got some nice adult websites. Hey,
How
Elon
do I
Musk can
delete
buy
this
YouTube.
comment? Oh, jeez. Okay, add to blacklist. Here we go. Lovely. Thank you. Yes, Crypto Dream. It was spam. Yeah, we got spam. We made it all the way to 51 minutes without a single spammer. Damn. All right. Well, either way,
Well
yo.
done.
So
Well done.
before we close it out, I was thinking we could do some rapid fire Q&A shit, like lifestyle stuff. Y'all ready to do this?
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah.
For
Let's get
sure.
it. Let's get it. Okay, so this one we'll do a couple that are more lighthearted, a couple more that get a little bit deeper, I guess. I'll start with this one because it's interesting. It looks like you guys have been entrepreneurial in spirits for a while. So, like, what lessons you have from failed ventures, failed businesses, ideas where you're like, this is gonna work, and then it didn't? Because I've definitely had my share of those ideas where I really thought this was it, and then 6 weeks later, I was like, you know what, this is not it at all. I thought it was, but it's not.
Yeah. Good
uh, for,
question. Go ahead, Pippin, and then I'll tell mine.
okay, so for me, it was not a business, but as a career sort of thing. Like I wanted to become a cricketer, and I have played nationals and all the stuffs, but obviously, like in a population of nearly 1.4 billion people, only 11 will get selected to the
Yeah.
Indian national team. So that's the kind of really tough task, and approximately like more than 100 million are playing cricket. So
Yeah,
so
that's
it's really
funny.
tough to get selected there. Yeah, but after that, I'm still playing, but yeah, like I'm not playing professionally. So that's just kind of a thing which stayed with me. But yeah, you can take it this in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I feel like I went through the same thing with soccer. I was playing soccer all the way through college, and then I got to college, and I was like, holy shit, there are levels to this. I'm not even close to ready to play professional, and I need to be right now if I have a chance. Like, if you're gonna play pro, then by the time you get to the freshman year, you have to be so far ahead of even all the seniors that it's like not even funny. And there's just, I mean, you look at the whole league, and you're like, okay, two people are gonna make it out of the whole league. Two people will probably make it to pro, and they're probably not even be in a good league. And I was just like, fuck me, like for 20 something years, that's what I thought that my future was. And then as soon as I got there, it was crushed. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I got to do something else. How about you, Jay?
Totally. Yeah, I do have like business related stories, but those are less interesting. What I experienced myself is, I played lots of Call of Duty and Battlefield a few years ago, and I was so good at it. Well, some people actually said to me that I really sucked, but I thought I was really good at it. So I was like, hey, you know what? Let's play airsoft. Like having a replica like a gun and shooting those small balls. It's not like paintball. It's
Yeah.
and I went to the field and I was like, I can do this, right? I know all the tricks and all the, careful, all those tricks and bottom microphone and all that. And I went to the field and I was really shit. Like everyone hit me. I was total blue. I was like, okay, I should really think about this next time, right? Things can be totally different.
Holy shit. Yeah, no, that's I guess it's just part of life. But now it's kind of funny. Like it is interesting. Like when you're going through it, it really feels like everything, the weight of the world is on this situation, whatever's going on, and pretty much every single time it passes. So it's been kind of good to ride some of those waves all the way up, and then realize that pretty much no matter what the situation is, you can come back to, as long as you can take care of yourself and you kind of put that accountability in yourself, then you'll be fine, and that's probably one of the biggest lessons I learned, kind of after stepping out of my parents' household and like starting the business, trying to test life out, test different things out. I was like, oh, so it's pretty much just you. And it's not personal, but like no one else is going to show up because they're going to deal with their own shit. So I think it's a super, super important lesson. Have you guys done a bunch of traveling? Do you guys want to travel a lot more? Where have you not been to? Where are your dream destinations?
Yeah, so, Europe is relatively small compared to US and Russia and China and so forth. So it's super easy to travel through all those countries, France, Germany, Poland. So I've been to all those countries, and believe it or not, but almost every country in Europe is different. Like different buildings, different culture. So it's not like you should really not consider it as a country. But then I realized like, well, you have like lots of similarities like in culture, and the way we live. So got to go to somewhere in Asia. So went to Thailand a few times, and that was a shock to me.
Really?
Like arrive in a completely different country, be in Bangkok and busy, different food, made me sick at the first day. I wasn't used to the noodles and the beef they cooked for me. And then I went to India as well. But to be honest, I still want to travel to US or Australia and basically farther away. So I've like, a bucket list of places where I still want to go. But it's traveling is what I really like, to be honest with you. I think most people like it, but it's actually one of my hobbies. If I can travel, if I do find the time, I'm up.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I think your elder self, your 100-year-old self is gonna be very happy you did that decision. I think there's really only good things that come from that kind of stuff, and just seeing the world. That's awesome. How about you, Vipin?
I've been to US once for a month or two. I've been to Maldives for my honeymoon. I'll be going to Bali soon. I haven't told Jay as well yet, but I would be. Next few months, I'll travel like most of the states in India. India is huge, like if you know. So I've traveled to most of the states. Have seen most of the things in India. For sure, after our launch, I'll go to Netherlands and meet Jay in person in Netherlands. I've been there. I haven't been there yet. So this is it. Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really cool for you guys to hang out. Okay, last two questions. What were you kind of like in high school? Were you much like the entrepreneurs you guys are today, the pioneers, or were you different? Were you shy, quiet, introverted? Like, or what was the deal in high school?
Oh man, that's a very good question. I was very introverted, very, very shy, giving presentations to your to your mates, at school, like shaking and but I think
the literal trembling of your hands.
Yeah, like, all right, next one, Jay, do your thing. And like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to stand there, But it really changed when I set up my first business, where you have to talk with people, otherwise you won't generate revenue, you won't be successful, right? So that really changed my way of life, really. I mean, I can be still shy, I can be still, if someone asks me like, hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to go to the party? I can still think, well, this time I'll just hang out and watch some Netflix, documentary, movies, for example. But I also really enjoy talking with people nowadays, so I really have to to get out there and be in business with companies and people. But I used to be very shy. Yeah, it's crazy how that changed.
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, same story pretty much. Just shy to trying to be super loud, then trying to find myself, and then now I'm at a point where, yeah, dude, it's I don't. I guess I'm like kind of a hybrid, but very cool story. How about you, Viva? Ribbon.
Uh, I was also a bit of shy, but because I was playing, so I had to meet a lot of people, like travel to different cities for playing cricket and those kind of stuff. So I traveled a lot for playing in the sense, and I was decent in studies as well. So that's why I moved it to the technical stuffs and did engineering and those kind of stuffs. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, a bit of shy, but was into like talking to people because of the things I was doing at that time.
Hell yeah. Right. All right. And final question: favorite food chain or food?
Sorry,
Favorite food chain or favorite food?
Indian.
Hell yeah.
With
Hell
lots and
yeah.
lots of curries. And Jay hate
Well,
that.
yeah, I mean, I want to agree with you, Vipin. Indian food can be very, very good, but I've been to India twice, and got sick like the very first day. But it was totally my fault. I'm not used to the spices. I'm used to the food and the water, and all those things. But when I'm not sick and eating Indian food, I really like it. But I'm more fan of Asian food, like in a way of noodles and beef and soups. Really light food as well. I do like steak now and then, and that's also what my friends really like. So if I hang out with them, it's always steak and lots of
Yeah.
meat. But mostly, yeah, noodles. That's also easy to make. Maybe that's the thing. It's you can make it in 10 minutes. I'm not talking about the
Yeah.
baskets, but really making it yourself.
Dude, I don't even
that's what
cook
I
anymore.
That's what I like. Yeah.
I just switched to, I eat like one meal a day and then I have like some snacks and stuff, but I just went to the Chipotle meal. I'm like, it's too easy. It's cheaper than groceries at this point. Groceries have shot up like 400%. So I'm literally spending less money to
Yes.
not cook and not clean, not cook, not store foods. Like it's been amazing doing that. But since my mom's Japanese, we had tons of just Asian dishes in general, and curry
man, I
was
like it.
absolutely my favorite dish that she made. It's her curry. I mean, I've tried curry everywhere else, and all the curry is amazing, but her curry is fucking good. So shout out to my mom because her curry is fire.
Send us some.
Hell yeah,
Sounds great.
dude. Hell yeah. And also TikTok fam, there's a final comment here which we're not going to answer because that's an entire probably podcast on its own. Is it true that government replaced class struggle with race and gender issues? That is a conversation for another day. I appreciate that
Yes.
question though, but we're not going to answer it today. TikTok fam, peace out. That was funny. That was a funny way to end. But guys, that was awesome. Really great conversation. We talked about a lot of things. I mean, you guys are trying to cover the back end for a lot of the NFT projects. Something that I cover and work with is a lot of the sales, a lot of the funneling, and front end stuff for the NFT projects. So that's probably part of the reason we're talking today. But another part of the reason that this podcast literally, I think, had just jam packed with value. So I'm really, really happy we were able to come together and make it happen, dude.
Thank you. Happy to be part of your live stream, of your podcast as well. I believe it's also recorded, which is great.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it was really great. Having this conversation with you was really fun as well. Everyone else, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and thanks for raising those questions. If you do have questions, let us know. We're here to help you and teach you things that about the NFTs, for example. Really keen to answer every question, and thanks for being
here. Their stuff is in the description below, by the way. All their links and stuff. Just check out the description if you guys want to check them out. And Vipin, dude, thanks for coming on, man.
Great stuff.
Thank you very much, okay, talking to us. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone who joined the live video. And you can ask us any question on Discord, Telegram, all our channels. We would be happy to answer you.
Yeah, and we have a code word down here if you made it to the very end. Guys, make sure you click that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom, follow us on Twitter, do all the things. Crypto Dream, I see you in here, man. I saw you here actually since the beginning. Shout out to you. Code word stuff. All right, tell me again how you say it exactly. Tell me the way you want people to say it when they come into the Discord.
Cepheus.
Cepheus. Okay.
Cepheus.
Code word Cepheus. Say it right, fam. It's gonna be cool. So yeah. All right, guys. Until next time, continue on your Joyage, continue to learn, and be grateful you're alive watching this video.
For
Bye.
sure.
Oh shit! I hit the
Bye.
wrong graphic. Are you kidding me? It's the first time in history. Here we go.